So again, Genesis 32, and there comes a day with everybody, no matter who you are, where you come from, there's going to be a day where you just finally cry out, I can't do this anymore. When you come to the end of yourself, and that day could be a tragedy or a great victory. It depends on what your next step is, what you do next. And the man we're going to read about tonight is a man who all his life he's wanting to get ahead. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the way he would do it was he would use whatever it takes to get ahead, even if that means knock someone else down or trip them up. Deception, lying, whatever it took, he wanted to get ahead. He wanted to get the best deal out of things and then just split and leave the people however they are. And that man's name is Jacob. So, who is Jacob? Ooh. Okay, Jacob's name means hill catcher. So what happened was him and his parents, Isaac and Rebekah, they had twins, and within the womb, the two boys were fighting. Esau is his brother. Esau and Jacob were fighting within the womb, and Esau came out first. He was born first, and but whenever Jacob came out, he immediately grabbed Esau's heel. And so they named him Hill Catcher. And so Jacob, but when they were in the womb, God spoke to Rebekah and said that the younger is going to be greater than the older, and the older is going to serve the younger. So Jacob, along with his mother Rebekah, deceived his father Isaac, making him think that he was his brother Esau in order to get the firstborn blessing. So when Isaac, their dad, was older, he was pretty much blind already. He was very old. And he told the older son, Esau, go to the field and hunt for me and bring back some food. And when you do that, I'll come and give you the blessing. Rebekah heard Isaac tell Esau that. So Rebekah, loving Jacob more than she loved Esau, and Jacob was her favorite, she told Jacob to put on Esau's clothes so you can smell like Esau. Put on some goat skins because he was a very hairy. Esau was a very hairy man, and go to your blind dad and tell him that you're Esau so you can receive the blessing. See, God already told Rebekah that Jacob would get the blessing, but now they're using deception in order to get that accomplished. They're trying to help God out by sin, and that's not something God ordained for them to do. They did it, but it wasn't God's plan. So he was cunning, he was deceptive, and Jacob was one who would, again, use any means in order to get ahead. In this chapter that we're going to look into, the background to it, so when Jacob deceived his father Isaac to get the firstborn blessing, his brother Esau wanted to kill him. He made a vow to himself that when my father dies, once Isaac is gone, I'm going to kill Jacob. So of course, Rebekah learned about this, so she sent Jacob to her brother, Jacob's uncle, Laban. And so Jacob went to Laban's home, which is north of where they were at. He worked for Laban for 20 years. And in that time, he married two of his daughters. And now Jacob had become very wealthy. He had a falling out with his uncle Laban, and they made an agreement. They made a pillar, and they told each other, you don't cross over here to me, and I won't cross over to you. So the bridge is burned on that one. He can't go back to Laban. And they also, so they had a falling out. And in the previous chapter, God called Jacob to go back to the land of his father. But the problem is, the problem is that his brother Esau was still in the land. And when Rebekah sent Jacob to Laban, she said, go to my brother Laban's house for a few days, she said. That few days turned into 20 years. She said, go there for a few days, and whenever Esau's anger, whenever he forgets that he's angry about you, he goes away, I'll send for you. Well, she never sent for him. but now God's telling him to come back. So Jacob couldn't go back to the land of Laban, and Esau is in the land of his father, so now he's forced to deal with his past. He's forced to, there's nowhere else to turn.